guys. I meant to go back real quick because I forgot that we showed that he was the last player was Torch was he was a top 10 Allies player and a Platinum Access player. The win did get me to gold number 8, so that's where I moved up to. We're at 6-0, and we started the next game, and it's against Johnny Cousin. I can't remember if I've played him before or not, to be frankly honest. I do know I've heard his name in the Discord channels before. I believe he's a Tank Crusher Germany player. Um, so, I mean, knowing that, I'm almost tempted to go with the 4 infantry, 3 artillery. But, normally I wouldn't know that. And, when you make concessions, that does have other concessions that come with it. So I'm just going to stick with what I know. Stick with my standard opener and not try to play the player yet, at least. But if he's a tank rusher, that means he's an aggressive player. So, obviously we can suspect some pretty aggressive maneuvers, and so we're going to have to be thinking about that. And we really, really, really want to see us get a decent West Russia, at least. I'd love to have eight infantry survive there. Would be fantastic. But he was, I do know he made the top 10 before, I believe, if I remember right. So, it's going to be a tough game. It's going to be an interesting one. I got a feeling this is going to be a drag. Well, it's going to be a fast hitter, I should say, not necessarily a drag out, but it's going to be a hard game, and it's going to be probably a bloody game, which I think I've shown I'm not afraid to go into the bloody games. All right, let's get a good West Russia, a good Ukraine. Start out solid. Let's not give Japan or give Germany any advantages they don't need. Boom. Ugh. Well, the infantry did well. No one else did well. Three hits. We need 3 hits. There we go. 0 hits. We need 0 hits. Alright, I need to predict more often. Alright, 7 infantry. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with 6 and better. 5, I'm 4 and less, I'm Alright, here we go. Let's get a solid take here. We want 4 hits, opening salvo by the Allies. I know that's aggressive, but I like it anyways. 1, 3. Okay, 3's average. 2 back. Okay. Alright, we need 4 hits. Just finish it off right off the bat here. Oh, 4 hits. Alright. Alright. So this is good. Yeah, so I think either 2 or 3 tanks is average. I think 5 or 6 infantry and West Russia is average. I forget what the average is, something like that. So we're slightly above and slightly above. So I am satisfied in those regards. So that's a good start. Knowing he's a tank rusher and that I'm going to need all my units back, I'm only going to leave the 3 and 1 instead of the 4 and 1 that I do sometimes. Besides, that almost got me in trouble last time with the 4, so maybe I only have 3. I won't be tempted to do a silly battle. So yeah, we're going to do a standard move here. Let him do his thing, and then we'll go from there. Just double checking I didn't forget anything. I don't think I did. There we go. All right, so Germany, he actually bought two tanks, two artillery, seven infantry. So not definitely not a tank rush like I was expecting. Um, that being said, he did go to Sea Zone 13 with the battleship and transport. So here we go. Good thing we just practiced this last game. Um, he went all six to Sea Zone 7. I got good dice there that he only had the cruiser live. And this is the big story here. Ukraine went poorly for him. So against my three tanks and artillery, he sent. What did he send? Three infantry, a tank, and a fighter. Now that's what uh, attack power of 9, and this is a defense power of 9 plus a kill unit at the AAA. So it was kind of a low take he was going at there. I didn't actually put it in the calculator, but um, with the bit that I do, that's a attack strength, total attack strength as I call it, of 19. Um, or wait, no, not 19. Hold on. That would be, yeah, 19 versus my 15 plus the AA. So it was slightly, maybe slightly on his side, but definitely he was pushing it thin, that's for sure. But in any case, as you can see, what ended up happening is here it is. He lost 3 infantry and I lost nothing. He kept his tank and fighter, retreated with them, so he does have 3, 10, 11 tanks on the board here. So he does have a lot of tanks on the board. But I also have 6 tanks for Russia, and that to me that's living in heaven. Especially since I'm going KJF because, well, I can, and I can do the Sea Zone 37 bit. Um, I was trying to see if I could come up with a way to take out the cruiser as well. It looks like, again, my only option there is going to be actually using the U.S. bomber if I really want to do it. Because I don't trust doing destroyer bomber against a battleship. But I will do a destroyer fighter bomber, which is what I'm going to do. And then I'll leave me other fighter to take out the transport. And we will roll along from that point. So, our build once again is 2 destroyers and a carrier. He left nothing up here. Interesting. Since my Russians plan on trying to take him out, maybe it's worth going ahead and sacrificing that transport now. I'll think on that one a little bit. Because it may be worth just going ahead and grabbing that and then being able to sit up there and then, let's see, that would be 2, -2 for him. Next turn I grab the 1 and come back, so that'd be +3 for me. He'll come back and get that, so -2 for him. 5, 9, so we've kind of already paid for itself there, right? I mean, I'll have to rebuild the transport, but I'm going to have to dance around with it right now anyways. Heck, last game I didn't even have a transport. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and do that. That it? I feel like I'm forgetting something. I always feel like I'm forgetting something. 6 to Sea Zone 37. That's 6. That's everything. We will have Iceland to be able to shuttle off of, so that'll be nice. Alright, like I said, the most important thing here is that we actually kill all 4 units. If I have no units survive, I'm okay with that, but I want to kill all 4 units. If I kill all 4 of his units, then I'm going to drop off in India and bring my transports over here. Hit, hit. There we go. Nice. Ooh, wow, okay, that's a unexpected bonus. Alright, here we go. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Here we go again. See, I so rarely do this, and here I'm doing it 2 games in a row. I don't have a plan here on what to do. Um, let's see. If I let the sub live, let's look back at this again. You think I just walked myself through this last turn. You think I'd have this down by now? Um, if I ultimately I let the cruisers live, you know, he's got to send his fighters and he could send his destroyer. Well, if I let the sub live, he could send his destroyer anyways, right? So why not let the cruisers live? Other than the fact that the sub could hit and get a surprise strike, but we're going to go ahead and just take him out. There we go. We got the hits we needed. He took those out. That's fine. I got 2 fighters landing back on my carrier. I'm all happy. KJF we go. Two, three, four. So what I'm just checking is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So any of these sea zones, I could still send my bomber and destroyer to here. Just planning out what I'm going to want to do. All right. And down here, anything we want to do down here? Got those guys living. Got him. We got my fighter coming across. Got my bomber over there. I got my 2 fighters there. This should stay open, so my bomber should be able to reach 61. You got 2 more fighters that can reach 35 next time. There we go. We can leave it on my normal. So there we go. Here we go again. Alright, so here we go. Continuing our KJF. So I'll be buying my 2 submarines, 2 destroyer, carrier bide build. I'm going to, when you had that good 37 and we have a good setup, sometimes it's tempting to go easy, but I know he's a very good player and there's a couple things, that I know, just from Discord discussions, but just even his setup, he did well. Um, One of the better setups against my build here, although it's not my favorite for Japan, but he just built 1 transport, so that gets him to 3 transports, which is probably good enough. I think 3 transports is good enough in a KJF. I know some argue you still get the 4, and I still J1. When I don't know that it's for sure a KJF, I still go to 4, even if it could be a KJF. But in this case, with the season 37 loss, I think he did smart. He got himself a couple destroyers, got him a transport. He's got 3, 4 destroyers in here where he can start destroyer blocking as needed to just slow the Allies' progression. Because the reality is when you see that, you already know you're in a lot of trouble, right? So the whole goal is Japan is not to win the Pacific. Japan is to delay the Pacific as much as possible for Germany to win Moscow. So if you remember the last one, they just let me attack 61 directly here. He's putting a destroyer block so that I cannot directly attack it on UK 2. I mean, I could send 2 fighters and a bomber, but what that's going to do, that's not going to do anything. So that's one thing. My fear as someone who does this is if he's came down and stuck everything in C zone 36. Because if he sticks everything in C zone 36, I believe he can stack it with the battleship, 2 destroyers and a carrier. You know, it's a tight battle. Maybe I take it. I don't know, but most likely not. And either I have to match his build and whatever he's got coming in, or I got to back up and destroyer block and go to 34, destroyer block and come down to 30. But this is a very close second, to what I don't like to see. Um, he did do Pearl successfully. He went Pearl heavy, so he lost a fighter there. So he's down to 3 fighters now, which is important. I want to keep track of his fighters and his 1 bomber. So yeah, there we go. That's where we're at. We're going to start out traditional KJF. I'm still deciding what I want to do up here because he only has 2 infantry and 2 fighters that could attack here. I've got the temptation of keeping this stacked. But I do again, I got to watch out. He'll have that going behind me. So I haven't decided yet. We'll figure that out as we go. For now, get our purchase. We'll hit him. I do think I am going to take the risk on this one of the bomber versus cruiser. And again, I'm leveraging the fact that I'm in a good position, with those 3 Russian tanks living and the C-Zone 37 going positive. So I'm going to take that leverage and go ahead and take the risky battle of the bomber versus cruiser because I really would like that cruiser out of the way. I'm going to leave this for Russia to take. So that's all my US battles. Nice. There's our 2 hits. Good. He got his 1 hit, but his sub was sniped, so we're good. Alright. Most importantly, bomber has to get a hit. Then the cruiser missing is cream on the top. Oy! Come on, bomber. Thank you. Oh, wow. Okay. So my dice are getting very nice to me. Gotta decide. I haven't decided what I want to do with him yet. So we're gonna do one traditional, and we're gonna do one coming. Oh wait, he didn't buy a bomber, did he? Right? No bombers. 1, 2, 3. We're good. 1, 2, 3. Good. Yep. So one to Africa, just to make sure we can clean up anything here. That takes a little bit of pressure off these units to get back to India if we need to. Should I drop him here and just give him that 5 fighter versus 2 destroyer with no transports attack? I mean, it's kind of yucky. I mean, he's going to want to send one up here, right? I just kind of, I think I want to put him in range, or maybe even put him in 9. Give him shots where, you know, he's going to want to kill the transport. He's going to want to trade up this direction. You know, and if the destroyers live, then wonderful. Yeah, I'm just gonna move him on in here. Experiment on the person. See how they play it. I don't really like taking the fighter down here. Do we want to land? We can land up there. Down here. Get my A's in the middle. Get my units around. Get them to support a backdoor attack. Fighter. So the thought is I could put him up here and I would be defended, and then want to, you know, we can come around and do a, or we could put him all the way out on the tip, right? 2, 4, and then we have these guys that are going 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, does zoning 60 really matter? Not really, you know. 62, we wouldn't have anything going on 62 really. And the problem up there, they can't get back to India, which is a little bit of a fear. I think I'm just going to bring him on down to India. That way he can support this guy. He can, although if he goes there, he can't come back to India to clear there. You know what? Let's take him back a spot. I mean, the good news is we don't really need him up here. We don't really need him in India. If I just move him back here, then he could go 1, 2, 3, 4 and still come back to India. He'll be able to blitz 1. These guys can go 1, 2, 3, but I mean, he can have a tank and 2 fighters, but you don't want to do that versus 2 infantry and a fighter, right? I always like to change it up. Keep it interesting, right? Alright. Dropping those guys there. I feel bad about putting the transport there. I just feel like I'm missing. I'm used to there being a bomber somewhere, but there is no bomber, so we're okay there. Almost feels dirty. But next turn I could come back up here with these guys or pick up some guys from here and then come back even. So I really like not having a bomber in Germany. Alright, we're already a little rich because we still got our AAA and three tanks, and we're going to be getting 2 off of here. So I'm going to lean on the 4 and 4 this time instead of, is that right, 4 and 4? Yeah, instead of 8 and 1. Instead of 8 infantry, 1 artillery, so 1 more unit, we're going to go 4 and 4 just to shore up our ability to dead zone later on. Because I'm also going to use my artilleries this turn. So, again, I want to block the tanks from blitzing. Although, even if I fail, I still got a lot I can do. But I really, really want to get my 6 tanks down here in Caucasus for any J3 playing on India. So I really want to go ahead and have these 2 territories, which this one's obviously a given. So I'm going to do my 2 and 1 there. I really, as you guys know from previous conversations, I don't want him to have Karelia and be able to build on there the next turn. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a fighter can do the trick. I could put 1 more, so that gives me a 70% shot. You know, it's not the end of the world if he takes it, because certainly I've faced G1 Karelias before, but I really want to take that. Oh, don't want to forget this guy down here. Take the freebie too. What is... I know y'all are going to have a heart attack if I say 3 infantry versus 2 infantry. That's a 50-50 up here. After the last game, y'all are going to say, y'all are screaming, don't do it! Don't do it! But man, to make him drive a transport up here instead of going towards India, man, that would be nice. Don't do it! I hear you, don't do it! Stop it! Don't be silly! Don't be greedy, don't be greedy, don't be greedy, don't be greedy. But I really want to be greedy. I really want to be greedy. I shouldn't be greedy. Ah, alright, alright. No, 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 no. We don't have to worry about planes landing there. Don't be greedy. Be smart. It's only a 1 IPC. It's just 2 infantry. Don't be greedy. Alright, I talked myself out of it. For those of you that were cheering for it, you won. Let's just get that infantry, or get that fighter hit right off the bat. There we go. Feel good. No hit back, that's great. Like to get 1 more hit than he gets on first round of battle. Oh, Oh, wow. Okay. I am getting now my dice is getting a little ridiculous. Wow. I actually am starting to feel guilty about this game at this point. I feel bad about that. I mean, yes, he can wipe them, but it's gonna be costly. He's gonna have to use his gosh, I just feel dirty. Not gonna lie. So I got 8 plus 16, 14, 16 units threatening that. He can move 8, 11, 12, 13, 14. We'll just do this. So we'll make it 1 and 1. You know, he's got 2 fighters that can reach those, so he can go 1 infantry, 1 fighter on both of them, which can be awkward, or he can just go all in on 1 and just make it a little annoying. That's all. I really want to push that advantage more, but I'm just not. I'm playing smart. Playing smart. I've had ridiculously good dice with Russia, Germany. Play smart. All right, there we go. So Germany took their turn. 4 tanks, 5 infantry. So he's got a lot of tanks coming in. So they're gonna have quick movement. It's kind of a half-hearted though. Either I don't know. I would think you either want to go all in tanks or go all in infantry, march them till you get that round 4 or 5, and then tanks to bring in behind them. That's my opinion. Different people play the whole KJF bit a little bit differently. He did attack curly. What did he attack there with? I didn't even look at that. So he had 3 infantry, 2 fighters, 2 tanks. So he lost 2 infantry and tanking all those people. But it does give me a pretty good shot at killing off 2 of his tanks. And I should be able to take Ukraine, put a guy here, and keep West Russia still isolated for another turn at least. These tanks are going to add up. I won't be able to. I doubt I'll be able to dead zone Karelia again because he's going to have what 6, 7, 8, 15, 19 units going into it. I doubt I'm going to have 19 plus units sitting down here. I haven't really done the math yet, but it's not a big deal. If he gets it on G3, that's okay. It wasn't G1 or G2. So that being said, we're coming back down to here. I did look um, at what would it take if he brought everything to 36 next turn. It'd be a carrier, 3 destroyers, and a battleship, a loaded carrier. Well, with what I'm getting ready to build, I'll have a 65 to 70% chance of wiping them if he did that. So I'm okay with that. I'm going to let him stack Burma because I've got better things in mind. But that does mean, I calculated what's it mean with 5 infantry, 2 artillery, and a tank. I could attack it, but I'll be able to, nothing else, I'll be able to defend the India itself the following turn if I need to and get creative with my navy. So don't worry about that. You can see he did go ahead and do the German play here through Egypt instead of dancing back and forth. Gonna go ahead and make me commit units that way instead of going that way. So yeah, so there we go. All right, so purchase. The other thing of note here I forgot to mention is he's only got the 1 fighter here. His other 4 fighters are inland. and I've got 2 destroyers here, so I get a free transport drop. So that's number one, buying a transport. I am buying a carrier and a fighter and 1 infantry for India. We'll have a carrier and a fighter. I'm going to be using this India fighter here. 1, 2, 3, 4 will be my second fighter for the carrier, and we should be good there. And then an infantry just to drop into India to start a little bit of ground units here. Um, that's the one I will say the one weakness to an aggressive India is if they press hard, they can potentially get Japan India. I most of the time I'm able to defend it, but in the KJF, if Japan gets to India, it's not the end of the world. Certainly, it's not comfortable, but it's not the end of the world either. So, all right, so he's online right now. All right. So the reason I'm not gonna trade Burma is if he's giving me boats to trade, I want to trade boats with him. I got a chance on a UK2 DEI. I'm going to take a chance on a UK2 DEI. And I'm going to go ahead and go here because anybody that lives, I got a transport that can go grab and pick them and bring them back quickly to India next turn. I'll take and grab. Got nowhere really for him to go. We're not going to be doing any of that, obviously. There we go. Get these fighters hitting early. Got one of them, okay. There we go. Happy day. Let's just get the destroyer kill quick and easy. There we go. Happy day. And it's a destroyer block. Oh, I wanted to do Egypt first, I just realized, but oh well. Alright, got the tank. Good deal. That's fine. I'm not worried about that. Hey, 2 hits. Come on, guys. Hey. Hey. Oi, oi. Okay, well, I guess we won't be retrieving anything with the transport. Good thing we got the US coming to clean up. And a good thing we got the tank. So I can take a turn, get the US, get the bomber over in range, have the fighter probably in range, and that way we'll have a good shot at them. Not in a threat this turn, so I think I'll leave. Let's see, we have 6, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll leave the 1 there. I'll leave him in West Russia just as potential backup. He's going to be eventually going over here to a carrier next turn, hopefully. We do want to get that guy up there. You know what? We're going to bring him in. We'll invite him to come this way. And then we'll turn back and clean that up. Alright. That looks like all my UK moves. Three, four, six attacking units. We should be good. There we go.
Okay, so Japan 2, he bought a fighter, destroyer, a sub, and 3 ground units. I didn't even look at the combats yet. Let's see, he traded 36. Well, didn't trade, he took it. Killed my guy, put his destroyer in there. 37. Oh, he killed the sorry, I had transport over there. That's right. Szechuan, he moved into Sinkang, pretty straightforward. And then took Kwangtung back. So, doesn't look like any losses though, so that's unfortunate. No units lost, no units lost, no units lost. So he got some of the dice back that time. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think I'm still winning the dice gods here right now, but he did have a good round for Japan. He's got quite a few ground on here. It also means, I'm respecting him a little bit much because I know he's a good player. I could put everything in a 59, and he would have like a 55% chance at sending everything to Japan and wiping it out. And a lot of times I'm okay with that, especially since I got this sitting here and I can just roll them right in then. And I'll have another build sitting here and be able to roll right in as well. But I don't really like just having my whole U.S. fleet wiped out either. So, don't think I'm going to go that route at this point. I thought about go ahead and building another transport at this point, since I do have a pretty decent advantage here. But even that, I think I'm just gonna wait because again, he's not gonna take DEI back. I mean, if he could, I don't think he would. So I only need 2 transports for here, 1 for here, really 3 transports. I got 2 on the board already heading this way, and this guy I'm gonna keep over here in the Atlantic. So eventually I'm gonna build a 3rd one, but I got time, right? They got to take the islands, build the factory, and then the transport needs to be there, and then they got to build the unit. So I got another round. I think I'll wait around to build that extra transport. So then it came to I had 40 IPCs. I could build 5 destroyers, which used to be my always go-to, but instead I'm decided on 3 destroyers and a carrier because I still got this fighter sitting here with nowhere to land, and eventually this fighter is going to join in. So even though I'm building 1 less unit, I'm actually getting somewhere for him to be in the water, and a 4 defense is better than a 2 defense of another destroyer. So we're going to go 3 destroyers and a carrier, save a couple IPC. That'll give me 40 for next time. So I can turn around and do destroyers and a transport next time. Again, some nice play by him, dividing up here. He's not going to let me just trade the U.S. back for some U.S. money in there. He's double stacked there. Nice move. And like I said, he built just enough. I'm sure he did the calculating, to be honest. He built just enough to keep me out of these two sea zones, which I'd like to jump to. Sometimes when I'm doing the sub leak, I like to come up to 64 now. But again, he built just enough that he could throw his destroyers in here. He's got two destroyers he could put in here and still have freedom. Not that I wouldn't mind trading them off, um, but I'm thinking I'm going to come down here to 52, where I'm threatening both of these, so he could use destroyers, probably just stack here. Um, Maybe he uses destroyer, in here to prevent me from going there, but I doubt it. Um, Maybe US3, I can then get to Philippines and have the UK come join them. So that's what we're hoping for. I'm looking, I don't think I got any attacks though with US, is that right? Not a single attack? I mean, I could go ahead and just take 52, but it is a nice staging ground to have. At Midway, is that right? Oh, Wake, sorry. Midway's back there, that's right. Do I want to... I do have this guy coming in behind, so... It actually can be convenient, so hopefully we don't get a hit back there. I don't think I want to bomb. As tempting as it is, I want to keep the bomber alive. I do need to continue to prevent any sort of sea line, and right now I got a destroyer fighter holding it, but um, actually that bomber is also helping hold. But still, I want to keep my bomber alive. I'm going to play it this one a little tighter. Last game I played a little bit looser with my attacks. I'm going to be a little bit tighter because again I know the opponent's already making some pretty good moves, so we're not going to risk the bomb and run. I mean, I could have brought the cruiser too, but we know how pointless a cruiser is. Alright, phew. You hate to lose an infantry on these islands, so a lot of times I don't bother to take them. Two there already. Yep. Let's keep them for my carrier. Alright, so bringing him down here, I do gotta be careful. I don't want any, I don't want to let this tank blitz me. But that's simply just leaving a unit in there. Um, but from here, I can still help dead zone, sea zone 5, which is important for not letting the silly sea lion. I can still use my guy to uh, hit with my infantry here. I can also use him to clear a, another destroyer block if he does that again next time. And I'll have both my fighter and bomber ready to help out here. I imagine he's probably just going to come this way, to be honest. But that's why I got a UK transport I don't care about, because I'm not likely ever going to build a factory here. So I can use my transport just to kill him, and the bomber can kill me or whatever. That's fine. over here just in case. No reason to stay there. I can always move them back when I'm ready for them. German, 1, 2, 3. Boy, the German could hit him, can't he? Then he'd be able to blitz over there. Maybe I better put him somewhere a little more safe. Hmm. So yeah, I don't need him there. I need him to be able to go 1, 2, 3, 4 to match my units coming over here. My aircraft carrier coming over. And that way the other fighter can drop back to the other carrier if I need him to. So that'll protect him. That way he doesn't do a 1-2, use his fighter as a clear, and then blitz his tank over to kill a lonely bomber. Of course, I do have those units too. Now that I think about it, I got them that I can still sit back there. If he uses Germany, right? If he uses fighters to kill there, I could always walk back a couple infantry for a turn. I've got no threat from Japan. So, yeah, let's go back to my original plan. Da-dee-da-dee-da. I'm gonna leave a guy in each of these, make Japan work for it at least. A lot of indecisiveness today. All right, there we go. You know what I never did? Get off submerge. I always forget about that. Most of the time I forget and I'm already deep into the battle and Japan's just assuming I'm not submerging, but I actually am. Alright, we're going to take our rich money and stack up some units now. Leave retreat options just in case. There we go. Alright. Nice tank kill. Just the right number of infantry. He can't build in Karelia, got those 2 tanks. I think it was worth it. I thought about doing some stuff up here again, like 2 here and 1 here. But I think we're just going to pull back. What's that give me? That gives me 6. What we still got in here? We got what? I can't see. Okay. 8, 14, 16 units for me. Plus my UK that could do a tiny attack. And he's got 7, 8, 19 units. Yeah, I don't think we can dead zone him, unfortunately. Don't need the AAs up front yet, so I might just use them as frustrating devices for Japan. Here's the easy. The easy play is just, good old West Russia, right? I want to put them back here because they'd be in danger. I could put them in Moscow. I still can reach those guys if I need to. I think that's fine. I'm going to keep them here. I kind of like them here. I mean, the advantage being up here is I could run up to Vinkai. Actually, the more I think about that, still keep pressure here, but we can also keep a little pressure on a Vinkai there. Without having to send my tanks up there, and my tanks can be flexible to emergency. I don't think he can do anything in India yet, but I'm still in that zone, that timeline. I'm just kind of like, you know what? Let's just be chill and be ready just in case. There we go. All right. Excuse me. So you can see down here in Africa, I didn't even think about it. Probably the smartest thing he could have done. He split the Germans up. Hopefully the U.S. can take care of that okay. And originally I said I was going to sacrifice my transport just to take him out, but in hindsight, I kind of want to get these guys off the DEI instead of just letting them sit around there. And it means he'll hold that one extra turn, so it'll cost me 3, right? He has it this, excuse me, or 2 points. He'll have it next turn because I'm going to move into here. I don't get it this turn, and then I get it next time. So it costs me 2 versus a 7 of sending a transport in there. So, and then everything else will be like 1 turn behind. But anyways, all that said and done, I prefer to get these two guys off and save the transport. And I apologize, I do got a head cold coming in, so I'm sneezing and coughing a little bit. Okay, so purchase, we are going to buy a carrier and a fighter for the Atlantic. He did put his 5 fighters down here in France, which means they are not threatening West Russia, so West Russia can be dead zoned, or excuse me, stacked without the UK help, so I can fly this fighter back. It'll give me 5 versus 5. It's a little more takeable for Germany and a KJF, but I'm putting fighters first because it's only one transport. This transport I'm gonna probably take down here to Africa, or even probably even just sacrifice it for Morocco, to be honest. I haven't decided yet. So then we are building an infantry and 2 artillery for India to help with dead zoning Burma, depending on how this destroyer battle goes. I do want to make sure to take it. I also want to make sure I kill this guy. Just looking at my backup plan. If things, if the destroyer gets a hit back, then I'm gonna have to abandon my C zone here, and I'm thinking about coming over to 46 so that I can still get ready to pair up with the U.S. heading to Philippines, or just get back here with them one way or the other. But I need to make sure I'd have enough to survive my fighters. Well, I only need 2 for sure, so we'll do this. We will go ahead and grab this guy. Tank's just gonna sit there, make him use a tank to get him. There we go. Very good. Oh, okay, heart sinking a little bit there. Whew. That's a bummer, though. The reason this was a bummer is I could put this destroyer in here as a block and still be okay here with what he can attack. But what if he moves all of his his boats into C Zone 36? I can't dead zone it. I can't escape to go meet my US. I've got to back out this way. And I don't want to back out. I want to go over to meet my US guys. So, which is unfortunate because I wanted to grab these 2 DEI guys and bring them back to the to India, to the mainland. I do need to have 4 infantry, which I'm building 1 and 2 artillery, plus all my air to dead zone Burma at least, so that India's safe. So I think we're gonna go ahead and all right. Let's count this out. So we got a bomber that can hit here. We got 2 fighters. I gotta go 1, 2, 3. Nowhere to land, so that uses up the him, and so those fighters can't affect me. So 2 fighters and a bomber is what we want to defend against. So we should be good with 1 fighter, I believe, right? 2 carriers, a destroyer, a fighter would give me 4 units, and that's what, head cold. 10 defense versus 2 fighters and a bomber bringing 10 offense, but 3 units. So yeah, I think I'm comfortable with just the 1 fighter being out here. And I want to get those me back here because that way they can help defend this way. They can help attack here. More flexibility, or they can fly over to the Philippines next turn. So just to double check, we got destroyer, 2 carriers, so we got the 4 units. He's got 3 that can reach me. These guys can't reach me. These guys should be able to meet up with the Americans next turn. Alright, I think I'm good with all that. Hold up. Oh yeah, we got 4 fighters. 6, 10, 11. He can only come with 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 9 units. So we're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. Go. All right, folks. So let's take a look at Japan's turn. I didn't. Let's see. Yeah. So he bought 2 fighters, 4 infantry. So he's definitely gonna make the most out of his 2 transports, which in his situation with that UK1 drop that he could do nothing about, I think this is. I agree with this play for KJF. I think it's a smart play. Just get as many land units onto the land as he can while building up air, so that hopefully he can give some headaches to the Allied fleet coming, but then the air can also support the land that he creates inland. So that part of his play, I agree with. I think he's playing it pretty smart there. Huddling up down here. We're hopefully going to shut that down here in the next couple turns. But he still actually has a few more turns that he's going to be able to shuttle over. So he's getting some pretty good land units on the ground. So that's a positive for the Axis play there certainly. Um, that being said, I think I mean I go back and forth. So if this was an even game, I think pushing this all this up to the front was a mistake that he didn't have to make. But this isn't an even game. I do have the lead, so putting it up there, put some risk. I kind of like it. Um, it does make, if I want to attack this, it makes stacking West Russia harder. But if he knew he was going to do this, I wouldn't have had the fighters in France. I know he did this to protect the 6 IPC since I built a transport, but if his fighters were in Northwest Europe and could hit West Russia right now, or if they were in Karelia, could hit West Russia or Caucasus right now, then I would not be able to attack these guys and stack both of these territories. But because these fighters can't reach any of this, they're really out of reach. I should still be able to stack both of these and go ahead and strike and kill these guys. And we're going to use a US UK 1-2 combo to take care of these guys. So we're going to take 7 Japan units off the board while he's producing 4 a turn. And if I kill both of these, there's nothing putting the pressure on the remaining tanks that are going to live so that they can get right back into the battle. So that's our plan. On this side, he did send his one transport up here to take this territory, but of course this transport is a threat to Alaska now. So I am going to send a destroyer up here, and although it doesn't block it, it means he's going to have to risk a bomber versus destroyer, and maybe I get lucky and take out his destroyer type thing. He may send his fleet up to here as an evacuation and then go ahead and take Alaska. That certainly is a possibility as well. So he does have some plays. So if he goes and takes Alaska now and brings his fleet on up here, especially since I'm going to be going south, he'll have the flexibility to do that. I'm just going to set the one destroyer so that he doesn't get a freebie. Theoretically, I could send my fighter up here and then land him on my carrier, but then, then we've got fighters and bombers, and so I'd have to really move my whole fleet up there when I really want them coming down to be able to take out his fleets down here. Although as I'm talking this through, or take out his territory, because I was thinking, so I'm going to take Philippines this turn, and I was thinking of getting him down here so that then they can go Borneo and Thailand, which is what is my plan on US 4. That way I'd have my 3 islands that I want, or my 3 spots that I want to put factories in, taken by US 4. But as I kind of talk myself through it, I could strike that destroyer, move this mini fleet up here, move these guys to the Philippines, and then really just dead zone him being able to build. It'll delay my Thailand by a turn, because then next turn, of course, I could go ahead and take Borneo. But it will also create a bit of dead zoning through here and make it hard for him to build any more fleet too. As I talk it through, I might lean a little more towards that way, actually. I'm going to pause for a second. I'm going to think on this for just a moment. Yeah, so as I talk it through, this is why normally I goof up when I'm talking things through, but in this case, I think it's going to be smarter to go ahead and put it here, because that's going to squeeze him if he wants to survive the fleet, which, again, as Axis and a KJF, I prefer to have the fleet survive and then go create headaches elsewhere. That'll pretty much mean he has to go this direction, right? Which normally I'm like, no, not Africa, and I'll protect India, but no, not Africa. And if I'm saying that, but in this case, I've got 2 units here. I'm going to come drop 2 more off here this turn, and I'm going to have units that I can come back up. And so I'm going to have 4 to 6 U.S. land units on Africa when he comes around, so I can really fly over a couple planes, and I'll have Africa fairly defended that he's not going to be able to do too much in Africa. Whereas if he goes this way, it'll definitely slow the U.S. down and all this sort of bits over here. But it does change my planned purchase. So I was planning on buying a tank and an infantry so that I can have 1 infantry here. My tank can blitz over to take Alaska. But if I move on up here, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So he can have 2 fighters and a bomber. So yeah, we'd be fine with this stack going that way. And then I can still use this guy just to clean up behind. And if not, then come down to Philippines. So I don't need that tank buy now. And let's see. He's coming down this time. I do want the I do like the one infantry buy. Actually, I really kind of like two infantry buy. But I could get a sub too. You know what? This transport doesn't have to come back up to Canada. I can buy his other infantry next time. So I don't even need to buy him this time. I can move him over, fill my transport, because I do want to go ahead and get that third transport. Go ahead and get my normal Ford destroyer buy since he's going air heavy. And then next turn, just make sure I buy myself two infantry for East USA for this transport coming back. In addition to my Philippines, and then merging the fleets, and then I should be up and running. So yeah, talking that through, we're going to move these guys north. I'm just not used to making that move. It's not a common thought for me. So we're going to go that way. So merging these fleets, I only need 3 fighters, even if I use this destroyer as a block in 36 to prevent an India take. I only need 3 fighters. So I'll need the US-2 and one of the UK's, and that leaves me these other fighters free to do what they need to do over here on this side of the world. Like I said, I want to hit at least one of these guys. If they don't hit back, then I'll go ahead and take it all the way. We do want to stop that, obviously. Excuse me. But if I can kill one of these guys and I got all this UK air, I can go one infantry, air, air, and finish that cleanup there if need be. Love to get 2 hits here. Offensively, 2 hits, that is, not defensively. There we go. And a big whiff. Oh, crap. Unfortunately, I need the fighter for my West Russia defense. Ah. Ah. Alright, nothing I can do about it. Moving on. There was my morning. Mourning my bomber loss. That's going to help the UK out a little bit. I mean, Japan out a little bit, excuse me. Come on, just get the hit. Thank you. Do I want to... No, I can't go there because he has enough to get to me. Just in case he does something crazy. There's our 2 for them. Woo. Hello. Make sure we got our sub fighting. I do have fighter before carrier for this guy up there if he attacks it. I had to avoid the 1-round strafe and kill the carriers. Otherwise, if he wants to go all in to kill 1 transport, I'm okay with that. Oh, you know what? I forgot. I wasn't going to go to Africa with him. I was going to go up here, drop him in Finland to protect my tank for another turn. because I could, and I think I still will. So if we're only going to take one so that I can come back and take the other one down to Africa. Reason being, he could build a carrier up here to kill my fighter, but why would he want to do that? Oh, wait, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. 6 landing in there. What do you want to put his... I guess if he moves all of them in. I don't think he'd do that. I think that would be a waste of a bomber because then UK could land, or if he moved enough in to cover it, then that's taking his pressure off of here. But because we decided to do this U.S. fleet, so this is kind of crazy. You know, the U.S. killing that transport and the fleet placement over here is dictating where I'm going with this transport over here. How about that for irony? All right, there we go. And I do apologize. I'm fighting this head cold. Let's see. We're hoping to get 3 IPC back. What are we sitting on right now? Excuse me. 18. 3 will get us 21. There's a chance that we don't get one of them. Oh wait, we're not gonna go. We're not going this way. Oh wait, yeah, we can blitz it now at least. Oh, okay. So we're gonna get 21. So let's go ahead and get the 2 artillery. So we're not gonna mess with these guys at all. We're just gonna worry about picking on these guys. I'm gonna do a real quick calculator check, make sure we're good here, because I glanced at this earlier. I really want my tanks to live if at all possible. I think this gives me 50-50 that all 3 tanks still live. Yeah, the odds are all 3 tanks and an infantry still live at this attack, like 72% odds. So I like that. Let's see, that still gives me 6. Excuse me. He's got to block the tank rush. So we're going to have 2, 4, 7, 10, 2, 3 tanks, 3 fighters, 2 AAs in West Russia. I should have 10, 4 artilleries, correct, 3 tanks, 3 fighters. All that looks good. Save the tanks. There we go. So I finished two above, 2 infantry extra. Now, he's getting far enough behind here that he could consider this West Russia attack. I'm not going to lie. I mean, it's against him, but at some point, you know, if you see me talk and see me play, you got to realize at some point you got to go for it. Let me double check. So that's 16, 20 units. That doesn't sound right. Fighters, what are you doing landing there? Woo! That's why we double check. 622. 22 units is correct. Whew, that was almost a misclick goof. One thing I am going to do, I'm not doing the math on it, but I want to make sure I want a dead zone here between these guys and that guy, so, in the tank, so it should be easily dead zone. I'm not, let's see, actually, let's do this smart. All right, so he's got 13, 17 units he could put there. We got 17, 18, 19, plus, yeah, we don't need artillery over there. Never mind. I know I'm small diamond things here, but I respect my opponent too much. There we go. So Germany, as I said, I can't fault him. He went for West Russia, um, retreated. By retreating, he was able to pull his units up there, so that in a sense is positive for him. Sorry, here we go. But in the end, so I lost 10 infantry, 2 AAs and artillery, so I lost 13 units there. He lost 7 infantry, 7 tanks, 2 artillery. He lost 16. So that's positive for me, plus the fact that it was a good chunk of his tanks that he lost. He did build 3 more tanks to start pumping up into there. Uh, but what that means, doing the calculators and everything, Russia by itself can hold West Russia next round. So that's definitely put him behind a round at the very least, and we're already, well, getting along this direction. So it also shows he rightfully realizes he's behind. So he's going to be taking some risks. So I need to be mindful of that as I go forward as well. That yeah, he's going to be willing to take risks. So all right. Um, I keep forgetting to show this. So this is after Germany's turn. So Allies. Well, I've already spent my purchase. I had 37. So I had 79 IPC to spend versus his 37 still this turn to get equal. So that's what, 42 difference. So about a 13 more power. So this is really probably like 170 to 144. And we have the income versus them. And in a KJF, a lot of times you'll see this will go significantly lower than the Axis because you're buying all that Navy. But as you can see, this is just a strong position. So I'm going to buy 1 fighter. I'm going to buy a 2nd transport for up here. We're going to get 3 land for down here, 3 land for up here. We're going to have 1 left, so we'll have 2 transports with 4 land. And we're going to fly 1 of these fighters in for good measure. Let's see, they can go 1, 2, 3, 4. That's perfectly good. You probably don't need to send both of them. You can just go with 1. I thought about taking New Guinea. He would be able to kill the transport, but again, I'm like, I don't know what else I'm going to use with him. But instead, I'm going to come up here since I did this move. Now I got 2 U.S. transports, their air, and a UK transport threatening Tokyo. So he's going to have to center his forces a little bit. Let's just make sure we get him. Wow. That's a big wow right there. Ah, how about that? All 8 units hitting. That's a really big wow. Which I will say, because of my big goof, so he could land 10 units there. Um, my fighter from here will be in range as well as my troops actually will, unless he puts somebody there. And, well, even if they put troops there, I could kill it and land there. If he put his whole fleet there, so I won't count on him. So we'll have let's see, 4 or 5 planes and ground versus whatever he has. So unfortunately, I think I'm just going to leave all my ground in here. Maybe one back just to trade if he goes there. Let's see. So I'll have 7 ground, 4 planes, 5 planes, 12 versus his 4 and 6. So yeah, we're just going to leave just the one over there. There we go. All right, guys. Just a little bit of a cleanup. My ancient computer is acting extra slow today, I should say. So the videos start getting skippy because I don't proofread my videos or proof watch my videos or whatever. So if the videos start getting skippy again, make sure you guys give me a heads up. Or I also moved the mic closer to my face again since people were having difficulty with the volume, and I have it maxed out on the recorder here. But if it starts getting to where you hear me every breath I take, let me know that as well. But okay, so moving forward here, so you can see Japan's doing this little bit of a turtling. He did destroyer block up, so he can buy himself one more turn. He also sent a transport and took DEI. Um, for me, that's not the move I would have taken. I would rather have left that as if I was Japan. I'd rather have left that in UK's hands. I mean, economically, it makes sense because he's getting a +4 this turn. I can only take one of the islands where I would have had 2 islands after this turn, so he'll get +4 the next turn. So he is getting a +8 income on it for the cost of a transport and an infantry. And the infantry may get a hit back. So in that sense, in a pure economic sense, it makes sense. But now I can take both these with US and get my US manufacturing money islands set up that I like to get going. So that's an extra 4 build for getting into the late game. If we get to a late game, I'm not 100% sure this game's going to go into a complete late game. The other potentially questionable is he went ahead and built a factory on Manchuria this time. Now, I say potentially questionable. I think he's okay. Normally, I see a late round 4, a late IC build for Japan. I'm all hungry. I'm targets on. I'm like, hey, that's a free factory for the U.S. But he does, his setup here. He's got going pretty good where he's doing a heavy fighter build, right? So he's got 8 fighters sitting right here. And if I can't take it this turn, which I can't, then next turn he'll be able to build 3 and be able to land a ton of air there to protect it. On the flip side, he does also have to protect Tokyo, right? So he'll have to protect both of those. But, I'm not going to be able to take it the next turn either. So he'll get a couple builds of 3 ground units in there, and then he'll have this heavy air floating around. So if I land near it, he'll be able to blast them with the ground and the air. If I land directly on it, he'll have a pretty heavy stack there. So he might be able to preserve building 3 units at a time here. The only thing inconsistent with that is I don't love this pushing forward. He did it last turn too, pushing all his J units forward. Yes, they're taking away Russian units, but if he would have kept those back, he would have a pretty massive force here and make landings by U.S. pretty difficult. But as is, this is looking pretty weak. So this stack is going to start marching up this way. I'm going to start landing on the coast here, and I'm going to start getting pressure there. But it's probably going to be, I mean, to be frankly honest, a few rounds till I can really get pressure on that. The second thing that's already going through my head, it's a KJF, so allies. I'm always looking. Okay, so what about the victory city count? So victory cities, we need 3 more to win. Obviously, one would have to be over here on this side. And then we would need 2 over here. He's stacking Karelia, so that's going to be difficult. And of course, Berlin, unless he makes a goof, which I do got to keep an eye on that. I have the tendency not to keep an eye on that, and I've had people make goofs there, and I completely missed an opportunity. But in reality, that leaves these 2. In order to get to Italy, I'm either going to have a transport over here or a transport over here. This is the one that most people tend to miss, and you can sneak and get Italy. When you put them here, normally they see it, and they'll protect it. But I'm not really going to have the ability to get one going this way because I'm going to focus my transport shuck this way, and my units going this way because of this factory up here. So I don't know that I'm going to have a transport over here to do that secret one as long as I win this battle, which hopefully I will. Even if I don't win it, I'll still have some potentiality with hitting UK air against it. Not that that's really ideal. If I don't win it, then I send 1 infantry back. But if I do win it, I'm going to go ahead and take both these infantry back with me up to here, where then I can threaten a 1-2 on Finland for Germany trying to come back and get their money back. And I can also, if he doesn't do that, or this is defended well, or he stacks it, or whatever, then I can come back down here to Morocco, because presumably he's going to have to give up this stack and move his fighters up to the front lines to put pressure. So I'll be here, and then of course UK will be in range of France, and we'll sit there. So that's going to be the timing of US 4, US 5, maybe US 6. At the very least, it makes him pull some units back this direction. So I want to plan max pressure up here on US 6. And that's the good thing with the factory. He's going to want to protect the factory, he's going to want to protect Tokyo, and he'll need to protect this victory city if we get to it. And he's sent a lot of his ground units out. So he's going to have Japan 5 and Japan 6 to be able to protect all 3 of those. That gives me US 4 and US 5 to get as much into range as I can. So US 4, I'm planning on bringing most of my fleet together and penning the rest of his fleet down. Taking one of these guys, I got to, I've got the 2 fighters I got to protect against. These 6, 1, 2, 3, they can't do anything. And it doesn't matter which island I take, these 2 can reach. So I do got to protect against 2 fighters, but the rest of the fleet can go on in. So I'll probably use the UK to protect back this way. But yeah, so US 4, I take an island. US 5, so I'll have the 1 transport here. We'll have transport 2 here. This one, we're going to get it somewhere within range so that then, if I have to come here, I can come here for 4, and then US 5 coming into here so that hopefully I'll have 3 transports. We're building a factory this turn, so we'll be able to have some infantry there. Maybe we'll be able to build a transport with the infantry if these infantry survive taking Borneo. And so all of that's to say, I want to keep all my units. I want to make sure that these guys are getting as close as we can. My build's going to be consistent with getting as much force up this way as we can. And we'll see. I mean, I doubtful because again, it's easy to block the Italy, so I don't expect it to be there. But who knows? that double pressure on these both these territories by itself is going to be good. All right, so purchases. We're building the factory. I decided to go 2 fighters and a transport. So since we're getting both of these for US now, I do need a couple more transports. So I'm going to go ahead and build a transport. He's going to be naked, which again, if you build, all he has to do is build a bomber. It's going to make it harder. But even with the fighters kind of floating around, it could be a challenge depending on what he does with his fleet when I pin him. But you know, if they don't build a bomber, which I bet he will, but if they don't, then I just come here, US 5, US 6, US 7. I'm shucking onto the mainland. But even if he builds a bomber, 4, I go the long way. 5, 6, 7, 8, I'm shucking. So it's a 1 turn delay. So I might as well build the transport. It's one less I have to build up here. And I can focus on protective ships and planes and infantry and whatnot. Fighters is because I did take this a while ago. So, right? So 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, they land there for 5. And now these fighters can go 1, 2, 3, 4. They can go 1, 2, 3, 4. They can go 1, 2, 3, 4. So they can be the recovery fighters on US 6. Because the other thing that I'm focusing on, in addition to all that pressure, US 6 is when I want to start trying to get fighters to fly in to help protect against a G7, G8, Moscow. So we're going to start leaking fighters from US, from the West Coast, basically, into Moscow to help protect against a G7, G8 timing. And I'm sure my sniffles and coughing and abnormal voice aren't helping either. I've debated back and forth, though. I want DEI now or Borneo now, and I'm sure I'm going to change my mind later, but I'm going to go Borneo first just because it can reach Japan, and the sooner I can build up there, the quicker I can put pressure on landing in Japan. Oh, the question becomes, do I go ahead and use the carrier? So I was going to use UK to defend him, but now I think about it, that would be 2 infantry and a cruiser. Ugh. Maybe I just use the US to protect. I think we may end up doing that. I'm going to do a quick calculation because I hadn't thought about this, but I do want to do that. I do want to do that. Actually, the one sub I might use to kill him and kill his transport with. And the reason being, I could kill them easily enough with my UK air, right? But I'd rather be using my UK air going up this way. If they go that way, they can't go that way. And then the other thing too is, if I end up having to use my UK carrier for protection going 1, 2, they can't get back up there as well. So I may just use a US sub to take out the transport here too. But I want to just make sure what all exactly I need for my defense here with using a destroyer to kill his destroyer and coming in here. So I'm going to pause for a second here. All right, so I think I got an idea of what I want to do. I am going to go ahead and just use my sub to take care of that transport because I don't really need him for my stack in C-Zone 60, and I can't do the other idea, which is that I was considering, which I was considering trying to get this fleet to be able to come right up to 59 or 58 and pass some boats back there, but I don't think I can stack 60 and one of those two, and I want to be right in 60 because I want to pin him. So we're just going to use the fact that we took the island here so we can come down to here So these fighters can't reach me. They gotta go 1, 2, 3, right? And the carrier could come get him, but then these fighters can't reach. So 1, 2, 3. So I only got to worry about 2 fighters reaching there. And so we'll go here 4, and then be able to come into one of these 2, 5, and then in. So I think we're gonna end up coming back and stacking 48 next turn and 36 from the fighters for US5, and then taking the last of the islands. So, alright, so with that said, transport, buddy. Go, cruiser. So we got cruiser, fighter, 2. What we got sitting here? Carrier. The carrier's got to go pick them up. Oh, I forgot to mention with part of my buy. So I'm not coming over here for my transport to pick up. I'm going to move them up here with my 2 fighter buy, just in case he does a last ditch um, go for here. Uh, unless my destroyer lives, in which case he'll be blocked, and then maybe I can just bring him back to pick up these guys and leave those 2 in Africa and just let them walk around through the world. We'll see. All right, that looks good. Got the sub destroyer. That one. Got that one. This head cold is not. Head colds are not fun. I just completely blew. Oh, yay, cruiser. Way to miss. Hello. Everybody missed? Okay. Alright, here we go. Thank you. Ah! Dang it. Frustration. Yeah, and I said my computer's struggling, so I know it struggled on that one, because even I wasn't seeing the dice rolls. But yeah, I just completely bombed my duos game. Just, I mean, I can't blame on the head cold. I just bombed it. Y'all will see if you watch the duos game. But I want to blame the fact that my concentration maybe wasn't as good because of my head cold. Come on, just finish him, tank. Roll over him. Ugh. Just please kill him, tank. Thank you. Thank you. Huh. So many rounds of rolling there. Nice. Good job, sub. Yeah. Thank you, fighter. And so he got the hit back. So we'll pull the units out of Africa. I think that's the kind of thing that I find funny, that a battle up here in C Zone 63 determines what happens with troops in Africa. Alright, you gotta go catch this guy. You're gonna come on over here with this guy. Oh, I forgot about... I forgot I have my transport taking those two guys. Duh. Oi. Ah. How do we make the best out of a poor situation? Hmm. Well, we'll move these guys back, because if he does take it, we'll move him into there. Silly, silly, silly rabbit. Ah. I mean, it means he gets Alaska and he gets to hold it a turn. Well, no, not it. Well, yeah, I mean, if he attacks there, I mean, he can. It's limited, but it's frustration. I mean, he can't not be able to build here, and I just hate making silly mistakes. I guess if he doesn't give me anything, I can always send one of these two transports back to Alaska and take care of it. Ah, see, head colds, I tell you. We are going to leave him here. I haven't actually done my calculations in Russia yet, so I'm going to pause the video because I haven't really figured out I haven't even looked at Russia yet. But I do want to give Russia as much freedom as we can, so I'm going to leave the fighter there. I don't know if we'll have enough to be able to attack these guys and still stack, but we do want to give them everything we can, all the help we can. Silly, silly rabbit. Gosh. All right, pausing. All right, so picking up, just doing my placements for the U.S. We'll go ahead and again work on our turtling up. So I'm going to pull my other screen up so I make sure I don't goof up here, because obviously my brain is making too many mistakes these past few days. West Russia G5. So I'm going to choose, since you put this stack here, instead of trading with, I was going to take Ukraine, but instead of trading with Germany, I'm just going to go ahead and keep dwindling down Japan's units instead as a preferential. But I do need to make sure that I end up with 4 tanks over here, so I can only use 2 tanks. And then we'll have the 4 fighters, and I need all 5 artillery and 5 infantry. Actually, I guess I don't have to use. I could use artillery back here to help me make this battle better. I need 10 infantry and artillery all together in here. So this guy's got to stay in arch, right, to protect Moscow. So he's got to stay out of the equation. But we've got 8 here. 9 and 10 would come from here, and we got these guys. So I was planning on doing this as an all infantry attack, but we'll go ahead and use at least one of my artillery, right? So we got 8, so I could use 2 artillery. Yeah, okay, we can use 2 artillery there, actually. All right, woohoo. All right, so let's use our artillery here. And I did that So now I have someone attacking from all three. So just in case of disaster, I can retreat to any of those three locations. All right, so there's my 8, 10. All those got to go in there. He's going to be my fourth tank back. This guy I'm leaving as an optional because I want to have 2 infantry still living in here so that my tanks aren't very vulnerable to the infantry artillery. Thankfully, he has no air in range. So if I have to, I'm going to move him in as a reinforcement. But if not, I'm going to move him here so that he's got a 2v1 to protect the income. Come on, 2 infantry live, 2 infantry live. Lots of hits right off the bat for the offense, not the defense. Got to clarify that. Got to make sure the dice gods know who I'm talking. Oh, I forgot my fighters. Crap. Oh, why is my brain not working? I... Trap nabbit brain. I... Dang it, and he hit. Crap. Brain. Idiot. Oh, I gotta stop playing. Well, I gotta play when I got a cold. I don't have a choice. Well, we gotta move all these guys in. We don't got a choice. And I really wanted to, because he can hit my tank now by doing this. Oh, well, I got an infantry I can move in from here. Oh, I could move my fighters in from here before he gets a turn, right? Yeah, UK to the rescue. Oh, I cannot think straight. I can't believe I didn't put my fighters in. Lost way too much there. I shouldn't have lost that many. And those precious artilleries. Although he's getting to that point when he brings these tanks blitzing in him, he's going to be able to get West Russia. But at least he'll be a turn behind again. He'll be G6 going into there. And we got fighter pumps coming from here, and we'll have a fighter pump coming from here. This is just so much more frustrating. And when you watch the duos video and what I did in the duos video, this is just so much more frustrating. We still got our 10, we got our 4, we got our 4, yeah. 10, 4, 4. Oh, man. At least I'm not letting Japan blitz me and win. Oh. Alright, well, time to take a break. Alright, so Germany on their turn bought 2 tanks, 2 artillery, 7 infantry. Looks like he took Arch, continued to build up in there, did not try to take the West Russia shot again. Let's see, okay, so he did take Northwest Europe. Makes sense. He said took Arch. Blitzed into Finland and back. Which, I mean, yeah, I guess. Makes sense. So, and I'm still not going to put an infantry down yet, so I can't do anything about that still, but all good. 1, 2, 3, 3. Yeah. So, anyways, I was looking at it. Looks like I can still actually stack West Russia as it is, because we got 4 fighters, 5, 6 fighters, 7, 8. I'm going to put the other fighter in here. I only need one of my UK fighters up here, so I can continue to stack West Russia at this point, with 8 fighters, and then moving in so many of my other units. What do I need? I need like 15, and I only counted 5 tanks in case he went for this shot and got one of my tanks. I only counted 5 tanks making it back, but even with that, with the 5 tanks, 8 fighters, and 15 other units, I still got a 95% chance of holding versus this. So, and we've got 10, 17, 18, so that gives me 3 infantry that I can use on taking out him, and I could use more even because, like I said, I got 95%. So even if he does take him, so I feel pretty good. We can stack West Russia again. Again, anytime you're going against a KJF, I think this is a mistake as Germany. These are units that could be up here right now and pushing me off West Russia. So I don't like stacking France as Germany in a KJF. Just my tidbits for you guys. All right. So purchase wise, we're going to buy 6 infantry. We're going to buy 2 fighters because we're going, like I said, we're going to do our fighter pump here. So we'll put 2 more fighters in here. And we're going to be sending fighters up from this way. We're going to be setting these guys up hopefully over the next turn or two to be coming in here. And then we'll have our U.S. fighter pump going. So UK-U.S. fighter pump should keep Moscow standing for a while. So I'll do the trig game with him. I did realize with his fighters here, 1, 2, 3, because he took Gibraltar. I forgot all about Gibraltar. He could do these. So I'd really need to take both these. So I am going to take a stab in the dark, hopefully, and be able to use a tank infantry to take him so that I can continue with my plan of the U.S. coming down here and just choking out the rest of the German income from Africa this next turn. Right now, I plan on just moving everything in. I'm just going to do that for the moment. I can't see any reason that anything would change from that, actually, because we're going to, like I said, we're going to start pushing and marching up that way. Come on, tank, just roll them right in the bat. Roll them off the bat. Erg. Come on, tank. Miss. Whew. I mean, I would have lost my transport, but now we're happy. Go fighter pump. Oh, I forgot to take Northwest Europe. Ah. Come on, Chris. Might as well just pump them over there. Doik. We're going to destroyer block him from being able to take Philippines from underneath me. And we're just going to bring him on up there with us to float to wherever we need him to. And the main reason, again, I could have dropped him over here. Probably should have gone ahead and dropped him now that I think about it. On the coast where he can't reach this past turn. I should have dropped him. See, I am not playing my best game right now. Anyways, because all he could have done, he could have air bombed them, which is fine. They're just UK troops, right? But whatever. Whatever.
So we're getting ready to start Jap getting ready to start US 5. Ugh. On Japan 5, he bought 2 more fighters and some grounds, mixing both the Tokyo and here, and he distributed his. I mean, he's got 10 fighters there, so pretty strong. We're not really going to be attacking either of these. That's fine. Like I said, it's US 6. We're hoping that maybe we can sneak in this guy. Um, we'll see. Maybe, maybe not. Probably not. I imagine he's smart because I doubt he'll let me get Italy and there, um, as well as he's been stacking France. So uh, probably not going to happen. But that's okay. We'll just keep our eye out. I'm going to continue to work on just shucking units for US over onto this side as well because I can. Because I got the money and I got the transport still sitting over here. Meanwhile, we're going to be building out this way, moving things on over. Um, his 10 fighters does get a little bit strong, right? Um, I suppose I should double check my numbers here. Make sure that will be okay. I mean, we got 7. We got to send a destroyer here. One of our destroyers has to go here with a sub. So that'll leave me 4, 5. If I lose that guy, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 defending. We should be alright there. I mean, I have enough. Um, 2, 3. Yeah, I'm gonna say I think this fighter can still make it back if I needed him. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I can't bring a UK fighter back if I need him to. So we should be good. So yeah, we'll need a couple fighters to stay in there. And then when he builds next turn, what's he got? He has 32, so he'll build. He can do 2 fighters and a bomber. So 3 more that he can have. So he'll have 13 planes coming in at me. Which, by the way, with U.S. still to build, so for the Allies to be ahead in attack power at this point in a KJF is extremely good. They're down to 72 and kind of decreasing there a little bit actually as we start taking away from Japan, and Germany's not expanding yet. They're actually shrinking because they're losing Africa. So he'll have 13 next time, but I'm going to be getting these 4 transports out of range for this turn, or excuse me, 4 destroyers out of range for this turn, but then they'll be coming back in. And then I'll also have these guys that after cleaning up their duty down here, they'll be able to join them. So we'll have plenty to use for defense next turn anyways. So we'll be okay, and then we'll be able to start building out of these factories some more boats. So we'll be all right. So that being said, I might go ahead and just switch this on over. And switch this to a tank. Getting a tank on mainland will let me be able to blitz them around and move them around a little quicker. So we're going to build a tank. So we'll use 2 infantry and a tank down here. Bring the bomber in here. We'll take a turn to get him on over and into the offensive. Excuse me, a fighter. Actually, I forgot I'm building a fighter. So I'd rather go ahead and have that fighter over here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I'd rather have that fighter over here so we want 1 less ground. So I want an infantry, a tank, and a fighter going into the Philippines this turn. Now leave me an infantry and artillery over here in East USA for the transport to come back to. And that leaves me some money left over there, so why don't we turn that guy into a tank as well for rushing around. There we go. I think that's a little bit better. Gives an extra fighter instead of the bomber. Um, I got these fighters coming in that'll be then able to land up at the fleet, and that way 1, 2, 3, 4. Bummer. You know, the fighters that leave on here won't be able to reach into the Moscow quite yet. Oh well. All right, we'll be all right. Because West Russia's still going to be stacked, so that we got a little while till we got an extra turn till we got to get to Moscow. Need a destroyer. We'll send the sub in there with him. I think we're going to go for this. The question is, do I send my cruiser there or do I send my cruiser there? I mean, I guess I think he's better off over here, but that's the more valuable territory, right? Yeah, let's go ahead and. Yeah. I mean, why am I even debating it? The cruiser's going to miss anyways. What's the debate about? There we go. These transports will now be safe. And then we're going to go ahead and just move everything in here for a quick kill. Oh, don't want to forget about this guy. I want to come take here. My UK guy is going to take here. That way the fighters can only go 1, 2, 3, nowhere to land. So they can be, my transports can be naked down here. So yeah, so UK is going to push into here, here. We're good landing here. That makes it hard for him to land planes in here. So yeah, we're good. We're good. I think that's all the attacks. My West Russia fighter just going to chill and defend. Yeah, I understand it's unlikely. But we want it to be likely. Come on, infantry v first infantry. It's the 50-50. Yay! Awesome. I can move my destroyers in there too. Let's get a hit. First round, fighter. Cruiser, somebody hit. I knew you'd miss. I knew it was a waste to worry about that cruiser. My infantry do better without the cruiser. Nice shot, sub. Okay, I'm going to bring him over here because from here he can launch into Moscow, West Russia next turn to help out. These guys can come right on down here. Fighters can't touch them. Might as well grab himself an AA for the heck of it. These guys can come on in here. I want to see if since the sub lived, I'm going to do my calculations, see if I can send the one fighter to here. Because again, if I can send my fighter to here, he can reach West Russia or Moscow next turn as well. So I'm going to pause for 1 second, just going to do the calculation. of what it looks like with the sub surviving. Oh wait, the sub doesn't. Why do I care if the sub survived as far as being defensive to the air? So 6, 7, 8. Yeah, we're gonna leave 2 fighters. We're just gonna leave the 2 fighters there. The UK fighter can go and be helpful. Although the UK fighter moves after Germany. So would it be smarter? Because this is moving before Germany, and then he'll be able to move up before Germany's next turn. Whereas, yeah, eh. I'm feeling pretty good. I mean, the fact that he's not even moving into West Russia this next turn. Let's just be safe. He'll put 3 fighters here. Don't let the dice. Don't let some silly dice pull him back into this game. All right. I think that's everything. That I do. Tank, fighter, infantry, infantry, and tank. There we go. Russia's turn. We'll go ahead and get us a couple artillery so we can help dead zone a little bit more, because we're doing pretty well with that right now. Again, most important, I do need to make sure to take this, so I'm just gonna take it confidently and just be happy with that. I could send infantry arts against these guys, but really I'm just trading 2 defensive hits for 1 offense. Two defensive 2s for 1 offensive 1 just to gain 2 IPC. Not worth it. They can't threaten. They're not threatening here. They're not threatening anything else. So it's just not worth the trade. If I only had nothing else to do with my fighters, I would do maybe an infantry and a fighter versus him would be worth it. But in this case, it's not really worth it. So I think we're just gonna do that one. 95% chance to take, so we should be in good shape. You know what? Again, out of abundance of caution, let's do it that way so we have one that can get into West Russia and extra to West Russia if we need him to. This is just trying to play that smart. Don't let the dice all of a sudden jump up and bite you. Go. I'm going to put him in there just so it's not a free trade. So, because his fighters can't reach, there's always a chance that the 3v1 doesn't work. If nothing else, he'll chew out some of his infantry, hopefully. Pull all of them on up in here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just make sure. I want to make sure he doesn't fighter hit me and walk into Moscow with Japan. That would not be good.
1 infantry, 3 fighters. Good try to take that. Let's take one more off of here. I don't think he would try that. 1, 2, 3. Actually, I guess he's got 5 fighters. 1 infantry, 5 fighters. But 3 infantry there, I don't think that'd be worth trying for him. And three folks here. UK would go before him anyway, so I could just pull the fighters and whatnot back in, so he's fine. Alright, there we go. Okay, Germany here. They bought 6 infantry and artillery, 3 tanks. I don't like the tank buys just consistent like this. Either you're going to go all out tanks, or you're going to build up the infantry, get the meat shield up there, and then build the tanks. But the combination buy, I'm going to sit in West Russia forever now, I think. I already calculated G7. I got 95%. G8. I should be able to hold West Russia. So he's not even getting into West Russia, yet alone Moscow, and this is just Japan is just evaporating. So this is a pretty well won game at this point, in my opinion. But we shall see. So, in any case, purchase-wise, we're going to go 2 infantry, 2 artillery. I'm going to keep my air pump, my fighter pump going from UK to West Russia, and eventually UK to Moscow. And eventually we're going to start pumping in US fighters here too. So it does mean I'm only building 1 ground unit in here. So I'm just going to go ahead and take this tank back up to Canada and pick up our other infantry. We'll kill a turn. We'll waste a turn. It's okay. I can waste a turn as long as it buys yet another turn in West Russia. So we are going to move these guys on in this way. So I see the advantage to go ahead and striking here, because then there will be nothing that can retaliate at all that way. We're going to park him on in there so there's nothing for him to really attack. We'll stop letting him blitz and we'll go ahead and move him in. And we'll give him 2 that he has to do. I mean, he's helping me again by stacking out here, throwing a fighter out here, which now is 1 less pressure, and these infantry back here in France. Not going to bother taking Italy. Well, now that I think about it. Oh, wait, no, I don't have a destroyer. Never mind. I was thinking I had a destroyer with him and I could take these 2. But he does have his couple fighters there, so no. So yeah, we're not going to bother with Italy because he did stack France. So it doesn't even matter if he leaves this open or not, because I can't get them all right now. So we're just going to go back, go grab more men, and come on back. Just double checking myself. Yep. I do hope Johnny Cousins worked his way up onto the leaderboard. Give me some... Hey! Give me some ELO. Thank you. It's fine. That was really about the unit, not the territory. So, while I'm stacking up all this air here, right? That means good things. You know what? 1, 2, 3. Let's not land him there. Let's bring him onto here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah,
we're good there. So just imagine when this stack gets moving on up here, and then all of a sudden we bring back these, what is that, 8, 9 fighters and a bomber, plus whatever, maybe a couple more fighters. So this is going to be a pretty intense attack force here in a little bit. And then when not, I can land a U.S. transport and then land all the UK fighters in as well. Move these guys up to hold stacks. So we got a nice strong force working up the coast here. We'll give them something to trade. I just love the timing when you get set situated and you don't need those fighters and you just keep pumping fighters into the center of the board, and Germany just really will stall out if they hadn't already got enough pressure. If they miss their timings, then they're just done. Oh shoot! Oh, I forgot to take the little Malaysia down here. Dang it! Me being overconfident and not paying attention. Well, shoot. I'll just tuck you in here for right now, I guess. Urgh, that irks me. He gets a free kill. If he wants. I mean, he's going to have to put his fighter down there and I'll kill his fighter, but still. That should have been taken. And that should have been free. Oh, irk, irk, irk. I do want to check my defense profiles. How are we doing there? Fighter before carriers was good. I am making way too many blunders right now. I made some earlier in some of my other games too. And not just the duos, not just these silly things like this. I think I need to tone down my gameplay. But in any case, one of the things I was going to say, if this is a tight KJF, I would be using these fighters to take out these infantry and then letting the tanks blitz. But since this isn't tight, I don't think it's worth the risk there, to be perfectly honest. Okay, so Japan's turn. Bought 4 infantry, 2 fighters, so they're now up to 12 fighters here. I've got plenty of coverage, not worried about that. Um, they did move in. They're out here. They're very thin. No reinforcements through here. I plan on just keep on creeping right on up the coast here, and I'm gonna let Russia actually come back and kick these guys. I think because I got plenty of defense against his stack there. So, and even if maybe I do let him have G8 shot there, I don't know. We'll see. So, anyways, we're buying 2 complexes, one for Borneo, one for Thailand, and 6 ground troops for in here. And I'm also buying 1 transport for Borneo. I'm going to start. I'm going to try and do a shuck directly to there, which means I have to have 2 and 2 going back and forth, and 2 and 2, which ultimately means, 9 transports altogether. If I decide to go all the way, I may end up just having them shuck here, just 1 base. We'll see, but I want to just keep pushing things to the front as much as I can, and I got the flexibility, and then 9 transports I can quickly shift into you gotta choose which one you want to hold on to. So That's kind of my plan. I'm just gonna keep building some transports. After this factory, I'll build it some transports and some men, and then just get into this shucking pattern. But this turn will give me 3 transports here, one to go back and forth to the Philippines, 2 to come back here. I'll have 2 transports already in Borneo with 4 units to go, and so that's going to go back, and so this one's already going to be all set up and ready to run. And when that one goes online, we'll build a transport or 2 to start with and get it up and running. Probably 2 transports next turn because they can grab the guys off of here and take them all the way up to the front line the first time. So anyways, that's the plan. Kind of like this. We're just going to accelerate him on all the way up to the front. That way, like I said, when I build the transport, it'll be able to accelerate him moving back up to the front line. Again, I considered doing a 2 fighter kill on here, but I got enough units with Russia. I'm just gonna take him out with Russia. These guys aren't gonna do any attacks. We're just gonna march them across. We're gonna go pick up the guys up there. I'm gonna have these these 3 fighters sitting in India, ready to move on up to the West Russia. Or maybe I can have them actually sitting in Yunnan. Or actually, Kwangtung. I don't know. I gotta be careful, right? I can go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. We're gonna take that one. So yeah. So actually, I can land them here. I just watch. I want to watch out for those 12 fires. Make sure they can't hit them all of a sudden. But both of them. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. We're taking this one. One of our UK is gonna go there, and nothing Germany can do about it. So they won't have a landing spot. So yep. So we'll just land our fighters, our US fighters, right on into here. Is that it? Just those 3? I think that is it. So I'd like to get my subs heading on over here to the Mediterranean to help start dead zoning it. So 10, 11, 12, 13. So we got 14 boats going there. Plus we'll have a couple carriers, 15, 16 versus 12 planes. If I feel the desperate need, I can always land a UK fighter there as well. Oh, this guy. I'm kind of being a little extra careful because I've been making so many mistakes in my games. I'm just kind of double checking here. Make sure I didn't miss something. I'm worried about J7. So we got 2 fighters in there. Check. We got 8 destroyers. Check. We got a cruiser. Check. We'll have 4 carriers. Check. And we'll have a battleship. Check. And that would give us a 96%. So yeah, we won't need the UK fighter. That gives me 4, 2 transports. Gives me 3 units going in here, right? So we'll have a bonus 1 for the next turn, where we only need to build 1. Alright. Alright, I want to make sure I keep the right number of units back in West Russia so I don't goof this up. Want to have at least 10 infantry, 3 artillery. One's going to move up. 2 fighters to take out him. We got the 3 artillery. So 10, 3, 3. We got 10, 12 planes. And I'll give them a 13% chance on there. There we go. There we go. There we go. I forgot I was going to show the war report after US. But anyway, so here's the war report after Russia. I built, what, the 5 infantry and an artillery, so I have 7 power, so 205. So we have a 45 attack power lead. Germany's down to collecting 37.
Japan's down to 28 this last turn, and you can see how much they're just shrinking even into the next turn. So, looking good.
So I'm a little bit on a time crunch, so I'm going to go a little bit quick here. Uh, Germany bought 2 more tanks and some ground mixed up. Again, he's still got a fighter sitting in France and these guys sitting over here, which is, preventing any victory city type stuff, but really limiting his punch up forward. He doesn't have anything else going into Corelli this turn other than, well, not even the 2 tanks. He's got he can't add any infantry this next turn. I believe, I'm going to double check. I've kind of got too many games going at this point. But West Russia, let's see, looking at G8. And he's got 13 infantry possible. Actually, that's going to be 12 infantry, isn't it? Well, my numbers are off. All right, so let's see. Okay, so G8 will have 12 infantry, 6 artillery. Oh, that's what it was. 18 tank. I did artillery instead of tanks. And 4 fighters. And let's see, I can bring in 3 16 infantry, 4 artillery. So I did use some of those. We'll have my 6 tanks. We've got 12 fighters in there. I think we're gonna fly one of these guys in. And then I've got these 3 that can come in. So I could have 16 fighters. And that would give him a 3% chance on West Russia. So I probably won't even use all those because I think I need these fighters. I might keep these back. And so forth. So yeah, I feel pretty comfortable here. So yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and move up to here so I can meet my other transport, but I only really need 4 versus 3. I mean, he could build a carrier and do the whole fly these other 2 fighters and have 5 versus 4 at the cost of building a carrier just to sink 2 UK transports. Have at it. If he wants to do that, have at it. I'm not concerned about that. Um, so purchase, I got 2 infantry, 2 artillery, 2 tank, and we're going to go ahead and build a fighter. Although, again, we're not actually going to be landing him on the fleet this time. We're going to have to land him on the territory because our fleet's going to go ahead and move up to Sea Zone 3 this time. We'll take that guy. That might be our only attack, actually, if I remember right. Yep, I think that's actually the only attack. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We could bomb his factory. But why? Don't really need to. 2, 3. He'll be safe coming into here though, so we'll just move him up. Because this zone, I mean, he could do 2, 1, and 12 fighters, and he could kill that. Because I'm gonna move all this into there and this guy's stuff into there, but it'll be costly, so I don't think he will, but he could. So, all right, yeah, no, I think that's the only attack we're gonna do. That's all we got, right? I think that's all we got. Got some tanks for running up the shore there. We got some more attack power going through there. Got the fighter that we can add in. And there we go. Alright, so on Japan's turn, they bought 1 fighter, 6 infantry, so they're up to 13 fighters. We did our calculation there. As long as we leave 2 fighters up here, we are good with our naval stack here. And again, they still can't reach anything down this way since he hasn't built a bomber, so I'm going to continue to have naked transports running down there. And the last thing I also calculated is we're going to kill these 3 units between UK and US's turn. So I did a 5 to 13 fighter attack of me stacking here. And although he could um, potentially hit it, it'll be costly for him. So I don't think they will. And as we continue to creep up here and continue to trade, Japan's going to get smaller and smaller. Meanwhile, we're going to continue to build transports. So my thought on my purchases is I want to get 13 units because 4432 equals 13. So I wanted to get 13 purchases to maximize out these factories. Now, in looking at this, one of my transports is going to grab the 2 guys from here and just come right back. My other these 2 transports are going to take these 4 guys up here. That's pretty straightforward. That leaves me 2 transports here. So if one of these transports picks up the 3rd guy and comes down here, then I only need to build 3 guys in a transport here. And then that'll give me 4 units with 2 transports sitting here. The one I move back and the one I build. And then that leaves me 1 other transport to come down here where I can build a transport and 3 units. So I will have 2 transports, 3 units, and we'll have this guy working his way back up that the transports can grab and speed on up the coast. And then next turn build a couple here and they can grab them, and then we can get in the 2-2 shuck. 2-2-2-2 shuck and just keep shucking directly into China here. And with all those transports, of course, we're going to be threatening bring all the transports into striking range of Japan all at once. Now, again, with him having 13 planes, he's down to 20 income and shrinking. So he'll be able to build 2 planes next time, or he also needs to continue to build up his units because eventually we will be able to overwhelm him. Meanwhile, on this front, we got 3 more American fighters flying in. bringing our tanks back and all our infantry and whatnot in, we'll continue to hold this at like a 3% chance for him. And with him not really having any backup units coming in, no tanks, he's just going to have the 2 build, we will be strong here continuing. Really, at this point, I think West Russia is almost an indefinite thing until he gives up. So that's our plan. So our plan to purchase is going to be 10 ground units. We can put our tanks down here so that they can move quicker. And then that gives me the 8 for down in these lands. I am going to go ahead and build a fighter for my 3rd unit in the Philippines this time, and then we're going to have those 2 transports I talked about. So we are going to wipe him out on their way over. And then we are going to come and just to make sure we get him, we'll let the battleship go. We're going to leave the cruiser out because he's pointless anyways. The second one out the non-combat since he's taking the AA gun. I didn't think about building him an infantry so that he'd have somebody to come back up to this one, so he'll just have to come back to East USA next turn. It's all good. And at this point, I'm not even being blunt about or secretive about the victory seas. I'm just being blunt. I'm just going and taking and wearing them out. That will conquer this one. How about that? The infantry hits, the flames miss. Okay, I'll be able to join the West Russia stack soon. I'll let that tank blitz around, and the infantry will be wandering around in the deserts for a while. Oh, I forgot to use my 1 transport back. There I go, gooing another goofer. Oh well. So let's see. If that's the case, we might as well not put him there. We might as well put 3 units there. So that's 2 of them grabbing. 2 of them will be coming back next turn to Borneo when they grow. 1 of them, let's see, that's 2, that's 4. 1 of them will be coming back here. Alright, let's see if we can figure this out. Well, first off, put the tanks here. So how do we get the most out of our transports? 3. Oh, we should be fine. Right, since we're just moving where we put our fighter at. had another transport in there I needed to I had two transports I needed to move back. Go figure. All right. Now, let's see. Those two are taken care of. There's a 2 you're going to take, so we'll put the fighter in there with you. Got the transport and his 2, and we'll have 1. So we'll be 2 units short of what we could have been doing, getting up there. You hate it when you goof. You hate it when you goof. All good. Not like it's going to break this game. Just a frustration. All right, there we go. And I'm still just building up my artillery ready for the attack when it comes time. I'm gonna go ahead. I know y'all say don't do it. Germany can just recapture those later, but you know what? One, this is gonna go to U.S. and we're gonna kill that guy, so the U.S. will gain that, and even up here, Germany's never gonna get up there. So, oh, we're gonna still combat move. We're bored. We don't want our planes to get idle. Yay! Oh, I meant to use an artillery that way. Hell. Guess I'll just recheck my calc what that looks like. Let's see, so he's got 11 infantry, 6 artillery, 18. He's got 4 fighters, so we're now at, we got 10 plus, so we got 14 infantry, 4 artillery, 6 tanks, and 16 fighters, right? We just have 2 fighters going in there. Yep, 16 fighters. And let's see, what does that give him shots at? Bumps him up to a 7% shot. I'll give it to him. I'd rather save my artillery rather than use him as a blocker. I mean, it's getting to the point he may just need to go ahead and take that 7% shot, but there we go. All right, so Johnny cousin ended up go ahead and whoops, forfeiting the game. He was ranked up there, Axis 48. I hopped on too soon, whoops, because I haven't got my rank yet, but I am in platinum. Woohoo! So, yay, we're 7-0. We'll get the next game going.